Hello, what's up with all of you? Thank you very much for watching NTalks for talks about nursing, academics, study skills, health and social care. For this video, let's talk about how much nurses get paid in the United Kingdom. Just for disclaimer, for this video, this vlog is for information purposes only and does not reflect the situation of each nurse in the UK. There are many jobs in nursing and the salary will differ from each other. Many factors also come into play, such as the level of competence, the specialization of the nurse, or whether the nurse works in the private or public sector, or whether they are agency nurses or non-agency nurses, and so many others. So the most important thing to really take note is that the information here is just for your knowledge only and should just only be used as a guidance note. The salary categorization that will be emphasized in this video will be the salary that applies to nurses that work in the NHS or the National Health Service. For those who don't know what the NHS is, the NHS was established in 1948 out of a long-held ideal that good healthcare should be available to all, regardless of wealth. And it actually refers to the medical services funded by the government. And if you're watching from overseas, just think of this as government hospitals or government medical facilities. And I will be talking about the banding system. I will start with Band 5. This banding system is a salary categorization that is emphasized in the Agenda for Change pay rates. And I'll start with Band 5 for the very reason that newly qualified nurses start earning at Band 5. And of course I'll end at Band 9 because Band 9 is the highest in the banding ladder. So information here comes from the NHS Terms and Conditions of Service Agenda for Change pay rates from April 2020, and I'm just emphasizing this because there has been some changes into this salary or the amount that nurses earn through the years, and who knows, there could be some changes this year, or maybe there will be some changes next year. But anyway, as of this posting of this video, this still applies, and the banding system that I will be revealing in this video still really applies as of this moment. So let's start with Band 5. A newly qualified nurse starts earning at Band 5, and a Band 5 nurse earns in the beginning they earn at around £24,907, and this is very true for nurses who just got their registration because they just finished their nursing degree from a UK university, or this can also apply to foreign nurses who came into the UK, took their OSCE exam and got their registration and became a UK or newly registered nurse in the UK, so they start earning at £24,907. However, having said that, there are a lot of things that we have to consider here because, for example, if a nurse works in London, so although this is the beginning salary for a Band 5 nurse, which is £24,907, some factors apply, such as the London weighting, which I will talk about later. London weighting is an additional money that is given to the nurse, and it's spread out through the year, so it's an additional money, and that's in addition to this basic salary that they're receiving. So most likely nurses in London will earn higher because of the London weighting, but I will emphasize about that later on. Band 5 nurses, of course, they start at around £24,907, and through the years this salary can progress and it will increase. Their maximum earning, like for those, especially for nurses who have spent, or Band 5 nurses who have spent 7 years of experience as a Band 5 nurse, they earn a maximum of £30,615. How it's presented in the Agenda for Change pay rates is like this. So for every 2 to 3 years of experience within that banding category, there will be a progression in the salary Sometimes this can be like every year, and again the maximum is £30,615. However, we also have to consider policies in their hospitals or policies in each trusts. They call it trusts. And what that means is some policies will state that before they progress to the next salary in this banding system within that specific band, they need to have an appraisal first before they can progress. So there are still a lot of things that really play here, such as the policies of the hospital. Next, we have band 6. So this is the salary grade or salary banding that applies to nurses such as school nurses, research nurses, ward sisters or charge nurses, and deputy charge nurses, and so many others. In fact, there are so many terminologies for charge nurses. Sometimes they may call this as team leads. But anyway, if their contract states that they will be earning at band 6, then they start with a salary of £31,365, and this can reach to a maximum of £37,890. It's very the same as with the other bands. Like, the more you spend with that specific banding category, like the more years you spend, there will be an increase in the salary until you reach that maximum, which is £37,890. So that will be the maximum if they remain in band 6. If ever they apply to a higher band, such as band 7, then of course they will receive an even higher salary. So for band 7 category, so this is the category where the salary of the nurse managers, nurse specialists applies. So usually under the band 7 category, we have the nurse managers, the nurse specialists, nurse practitioners, senior research nurses, and we can also include their clinical educators or practice development nurses, clinical leads, and so many others. And the band 7 nurse, they start with a salary of £38,890. And again, same as with the other banding categories, the more years you spend into this specific banding category, then of course you will see an increase in the salary. And the maximum salary that a band 7 nurse can earn, it is around £44,503. So again, in the beginning, that's around £38,890. And of course, the maximum in this banding category, it's £44,503. We also have another band higher than band 7, which is band 8. And the band 8 category is very unique because it is further categorized into band 8A, band 8B, band 8C, and band 8D. And how I will present it here is I'll just put them all into one category under band 8 because it really depends on their level of experience, the contract that has been agreed. But most of the nursing staff where band 8 applies, this would include nurses such as modern matrons, nurse consultants. You also have the senior nurse specialist, nurse program managers, safety improvement leads, and so many others. For those who don't know what the modern matron is, a modern matron, they are in the management positions. Of course, you have nurse managers, but they're higher than that. They usually deal with the quality of the services. And of course, you have nurse consultants. They will deal with the tasks of nurse specialists, but at the same time, they will deal about, again, quality of the service and putting up services. So it's really more complex. So the thing here is that the more complex the job is, then of course the higher the band will be. But in the end, it really depends on the contract and how the job description is really formulated. So for the band 8 salary, specifically in Band 8A, Band 8As, they start with a salary of £45,753, and that can reach to a maximum of £51,668. If the, let's say, nurse consultant or modern matron reaches the next band in the banding category, which is Band 8B, then they start a salary of £53,168 to a maximum of £62,001. Yeah, £62,001. And if they reach the 8C category, they start with a salary of £63,751 to a maximum of £73,664. And for those in the Band 8D category, they start with a salary of £75,914 to £87,754. Now, there are still higher positions, higher than those of nurse consultants, higher than those of the modern matrons, and you have jobs or nursing jobs like nursing directors or chief nurses. So they are usually categorized at Band 9. However, this is always a case-to-case basis. What I've seen in the NHS jobs, of course, it's Band 9, but sometimes some job adverts, they don't really specify Band 9, so I suppose sometimes Band 9 or the banding system doesn't apply. They might have a specific salary that is intended for them. But so far, this is still true for some director of nursing and chief nurses. They are categorized under the Band 9 category. And the Band 9 nurses, they usually start earning at, it's usually around £91,004. And again, through the years, this increases, and the maximum earning or the maximum salary that they can get is around £104,927. That's for the Band 9 nurses, which includes the Director of Nursing and Chief Nurses. And of course, before everything else, although Band 9 is already the last in the category, I just want to emphasize the high cost area supplements. And this is very applicable for those nurses in London. In London, they usually pay what they call as a London weighting. And it is to supplement the individuals or the workers with the high cost of living associated in the area. And, nurses or workers in general here in London, they have to spend more on public transport. They have to spend more on rent. So that's why there is this what they call as the high cost area supplements. For inner London, the high cost area supplements, so this will be added into their salary. It's usually 20% of the basic salary, subject to a minimum payment of £4,473 and a maximum payment of £6,890. For those who live in the outer London zone, it's going to be 15% of basic salary, subject to a minimum payment of £3,784 and a maximum payment of £4,822. So if we put this as an example, so let's use Band 5 as an example. So let's say you're a Band 5 nurse, a beginning nurse, a newly qualified nurse. So by following the banding system in the Agenda for Change pay scale, you will start earning at a salary of £24,907. And since you live in London, let's say you live in the inner London area, so you'll have a high cost area supplement of £4,473. So that then means that for that year, you'll earn £29,380. And it's higher because of the high cost area supplements. This is very true for those nurses that work in the London area. So that's really a summary of the banding systems, and it specifically applies it specifically applies to nurses that work in the NHS or the National Health Service. But again, for emphasis, I just want to say that this is a guide only, and it does not really apply to all nurses, because we do have to consider that there are various organizations. Some are private, some work as agency nurses, wherein there will be a different categorization of the salary, and some work as university lecturers, wherein all this agenda for change pay rates does not actually apply. And also, one thing I want to also add is that it's really possible that there will be some changes again in maybe this year or maybe next year or in the next few years, and that's because of the changes in the cost of living. I mean, today's times there has been a lot of difficulties, and as you all know, workers will always want to demand of higher pay, a pay that they believe is appropriate for them, and unions sometimes support this as well. So that's the salary grading system applicable to nurses in the UK. I will put the links below if you want to read more about it, and if you want more videos like this, please do comment below. Again, I just want to thank everyone for watching NTalks, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos.